are looking live at sold out MetLife Stadium, where today the 16-0 and playoff-bound New York Giants will be taking on the 0-16 Washington Commanders. Why the Washington Commanders 0-16? Because they suck. Welcome to the Gridiron. Anybody out there at all is going to spend a little bit of time with me here this evening, I greatly appreciate it. Thank you so much. If anybody's going to spend any time watching a replay this once again, thank you so much from the bottom of my heart. Thank you. I'm going to try to go about 30 minutes here tonight, shoot my mouth off for about 30 minutes. Anybody got anything to say, please feel free, fire away, throw it in the chat box. I usually try to check on the chat box like every 5 or 10 minutes or so. So, you know, when I see something in there, I try to respond to it as fast as I can. So please feel free, fire away. Plus, instead of me rambling on for half an hour, you know, it's nice to talk to another Giant fan. So please feel free, fire away. Before I get started, if anybody wants to help support my channel out, it would mean the absolute world to me. In the description box below, there's a top link. It takes you to my membership page. I got 3 different membership levels. The first one's called the Saquon. The second membership level is called the Lawrence Taylor. And the third one's called the Gridiron. Each one's got their own little perks to them. So if you want to help support my channel out, I thank you in advance, and it would mean the absolute world to me. If you are subscribed to my channel, thank you. If you're not, please go down below, hit the subscribe button, hit the bell icon. That way next time I go live or put a video out, you'll be notified, and it's free of charge. What do you got to lose, right? But if you are subscribed, thank you. And then finally, in the description box below, there's 2 Facebook links. The top one takes you to my Facebook group. It's called the New York Giants Gridiron. It's a group. Basically, I say this in every video, right? Basically, my Facebook group, Facebook page, and a YouTube channel. It's all called the same thing. That way a moron like me, I can remember. It's not like, you know, what's the page called? What's my group called? It's all called the same thing. It dumbs it down for me. All right. What do we got? Okay, we have over 3,500 members in the group. I try to, you know, usually once I get done going live here, I'll spend probably the next couple hours putting stuff in the group and in the page, which I'll go over in a minute. You know, I try to get up to, if I can, like, you know, 10 things or so a day in here. Sometimes in the off season, it's a little more difficult. And during the regular season, it's easy to usually get at least 10 things in here every day. But I mean, I said, whether it's a post, a picture or something just showing some stats, a video, you know, anything, you know, something making fun of the Eagles or the Cowboys, which is some of my personal favorites. You know, I try to get stuff in here. And not only do I get stuff in here, all right, but the members post stuff in here as well, too. So between me and the members, there's a ton of New York Giants information going in the New York Giants Gridiron group every day. And then also the second Facebook link takes you to my page. Facebook page is called New York Giants, the Gridiron. I'm the administrator, so I'm the only one to post anything in here. But, you know, as I said, it's the same thing. There's a ton of stuff going in here every day. What do we got here? We're at over 1,400 people who like it. We're over 5,200 people following it. I tell you what, the page is really doing good. I started the page. How was it? I don't know. I started the group last year. I'm going to say maybe March or somewhere around there. And I started the page afterwards, and I got more people following the page than we have members in the group. So, I mean, it's really doing good. Really doing good. I said it's the same thing. You know, every day I'm putting stuff in there every day. As I said, the same stuff, whether it's a post, a picture, a video, whatever, something making fun of the Eagles, the Cowboys, you know. I try to get stuff in here. And I basically, I say this all the time, I don't like, you know, commingle them. So basically, the stuff that I put in the page, I don't put in the group. And whatever I put in the group, for the most part, I don't put in the page. I said, unless I find something really just hysterically funny about the Eagles, making fun of them. Because that's why I live for. That's what I breathe for, to make fun of the Philadelphia Eagles. And if I can just find something that makes fun of them, I just want to share it with everybody, right? But if you go to the page and you like it and you follow it, and you go to the group and become a member, between the two, you get a ton of New York Giants information every day. And like I say in every video, all right, if you go to the page and you like it and you follow it, and you go to the group and you become a member. If you're not 100% satisfied, you get your money back, guaranteed. All right, with all that stuff said and done, they wrapped up OTA 6. All right, so week 2 is in the books. Next week, it seems like I guess they got the odd week. I guess they got 4 days. It seems like I guess maybe like Monday, Tuesday, and then Thursday and Friday is the OTAs, and then the OTAs are done, and then they got the mini camp, which is June 13th to 15th, I believe it is, and then bye-bye. I think they were 6 weeks off, but when they come back, it's on. Because that's training camp, and I guess you got like 2 weeks of training camp, and then you got the first preseason game, and then guys, it's just right up from there. Just before you know it, we'll be kicking off opening week. So it's, I mean, my favorite 2 times of the year, is like, actually my favorite 2 holidays is like, Christmas, because you got the New Year's in there, you got Christmas, and before that you got the Thanksgiving. So kind of all like the holidays, that time of year I just love. But also my other one is my favorite one is July 4th. Why? Well, because that's just before everything just starts going. Because it just the way it is. I mean, obviously you love when the season's here. You just love it's just something to talk about, especially if you're doing good and all. But it's just like once the season starts, it's just like the weeks are just, and I said this in my videos last year. It's like, we beat Tennessee, and then all of a sudden we're rolling before you know, it's like, wow, four games are over already. We're a quarter way through the season. Holy cow. And then, we're playing, and then we got the bye, and we come back from the bye, and it's like, holy crap, the season's halfway over with already. What the, it just flies on by. It's just like, you get the game's over, you win or lose, you enjoy it or whatever, and then you're on to the next game, and then it just that's why I like July 4th, because it's like right in the middle of the summertime, but also it's just before spring training. Spring training. I'm talking freaking baseball. Training camp starts. Because once training camp starts, you got 2 weeks, and then you got the preseason games. You got 3 preseason games, then you get the football, and then then it's off and running. It's like, sometimes you get so involved in all. It's like before you know, it's like half the season's off. It's like, what happened what happened to all the games? The half season's over with, and then the 3/4 of the season, and then the season's over with, and it's like, that's why I like July 4th, because it's just before everything gets to start. So it's kind of like Christmas. The days before Christmas, you're so excited. Waiting for the anticipation, maybe of the presents, or right. I mean, that's the kind of way like July 4th is to me. It's like the anticipation of the season starting. It's just so great. But it's like once Christmas gets here, if you celebrate Christmas or whatever, you open the presents up, boom, it's over with. It's like, that's it. It's over. I waited all that for that. So that's why I like July 4th. But so OTA 6 are in the book. 6 of them in the book. Now, apparently, it looks like the defense is getting on the board. Getting on the board there. One of them who got on the board was Mr. Deonte Banks. It says the Giants wrapped up week 2 of the organized team practice activities, OTAs, organized team activities, on Friday at the Quest Diagnostics Training Center. They will return to the field on Monday as part of 4 practices in 5 days. So I think it's Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, I think. Before mini camp, which is June 13th to the 15th. And, Brian Dable, Coach Dave said, we teach our concepts, blocking schemes, how to take on blocks, run fits, protection things. Dable said earlier this week about the approach to non-contact OTAs, tempo it down a little bit and make sure we get it right. So when we get into training camp, when we're going full speed and pads on, we're getting something to draw from. Touchdowns. Earlier this week, Darius Slayton talked about the speed on with the receiving group. He put it on display Friday, hauling in a perfectly placed deep ball over the shoulder from Daniel Jones. for what would have been a touchdown. Slayton ranks 8th. That is just, he has his drops. They dropped that one frickin' ball against what the hell were they called? I guess the Washington football team at the time. Daniel Jones threw it just maybe 2-3 inches, just a little too far. He had to extend, but I mean, he right bounced off his fingers, and oh my God, he was wide open. If he would have caught the ball, the Giants probably would have won the game. Oh my God. But anyway, Slayton ranks 8th in the NFL in yards per catch since he was drafted in 2019 with 15 yards a catch. Very impressive. Slayton said, I think definitely walking away from last season, explosiveness were the things we needed more of. And as I said, I mean, what you want to do is what Dave's, he likes to get the input from the guys. What do you do? What, especially with Daniel Jones, what patterns do you like to throw? He likes the input from the guys. What kind of patterns do you like to run? This, that, right? I mean, what does Daniel Jones do? Throw it deep, really good, nice touch, right? But I mean, it's not, it's not. Okay, we're just going to start throwing it. Obviously, you need the speed, but you need the time to be able to throw the ball as well too. And, that means the offensive line's got to hold up. So, I mean, that quite possibly had a lot to do with why he wasn't throwing stuff deep last year. But, deep doesn't have to mean a 50-yard bomb down the, can we throw it 20, 30 yards down the field? Right? I mean, but I said he may not have like a rocket arm. There's other guys out there probably have a stronger arm, right? But, he has a good touch deep. Let's take advantage of that. Especially now that we got the speed. Slayton said, I definitely think this spring has been a conscious effort to push the ball down the field. We have all these guys like having a bunch of Ferraris, keep them in the garage, take them out to the track. I think that's kind of been the mindset and maybe why you see a little more of the ball going down the field. Absolutely. But also, the thing is, it's like, if you don't take a shot, it's not saying, we have to throw the ball downfield at least 7, 8 times, a couple times at least, we got to just take the guys off every play, just go deep and, but you'd be amazed, how much stuff might open up a little bit if you take a shot every now and then, right? As I said, it doesn't have to be 4 times a quarter, right? Every time you get the ball, just go deep, just throw it a little deep, give the defense a little something to think about. So maybe, they won't crowd the line of scrimmage. They won't put, bring everybody up 15 yards from the line of scrimmage at all. Open them up a little bit. Give them something to think about. It's kind of like running the football in the first quarter. What are you doing? A little body blow, 2 yards, a yard, 3 yards, 2 yards, a yard. So after the first quarter, we got 11 yards. We ran the ball 9 times. We got 11 yards. Well, what are we doing? So then you have 11 yards in the first quarter, but the second quarter running, you get 15 yards. Just throwing a number out there. So you run the ball at halftime 17 times for 26 yards. And you're like, what are we doing? Why can't we? What are we doing? Why can't we run the ball? 17 runs, 26. What are you? It's a body blow. Boom. It's a body blow. It's a body blow, right? You're tiring them out. You're wearing them down. So then you go from a 1 or 2 yard gain in the first quarter to a 2 to 3 yard gain in the second quarter to a 3 or 4 yard gain in the third quarter to a 5 to 10 yard gain every time in the fourth quarter. You're wearing them down. You're wearing them down. You're wearing them down. That's the thing with the running game. Just because maybe the first couple of possessions, you go 3 and out, you run the ball and you get no yards, so you might have to wear them down a little bit. Let's see. Takeaways. Rookie cornerback Deonte Banks, the number 24 overall pick out of Maryland, got on the board with an interception. All right, baby. All right. That's, what did we have? 5 interceptions last year or 6? That is unbelievably low. I'm not going to say pathetic. It is in a way, I don't want to say that, but I mean, the thing is, it's like, did you win games? Did you, I mean, they reached the playoffs, they had a winning record, all this stuff, so, but I mean, interceptions are huge, getting turnovers, right? So, I mean, hopefully we'll get at least a few more. I mean, if we can get 15, that would be freaking phenomenal, but we'll see. But I mean, you had 5 or 6 last year. That's really not acceptable. Really not acceptable at all. What's up, Terrence? Speed. Slayton said he said he's a fan. I don't know if he's joking or he said that about Hyatt. I think they asked him about Hyatt. You faster? Maybe he meant him about all the guys, maybe. But I know he said he was talking about Smith being like a 4-2 guy, a low 4-3 guy. So I think Smith might have him beat. But he said Crowder, I think, is a 4-3 guy. Hyatt's a 4-3 guy. He's a 4-3 guy. So I don't know if he was just joking around or if he meant it, whatever. He did say that. Yeah, no, I'm the faster. I said I don't know if he meant about all of the guys. I don't know if Smith would if he could beat Smith. Jones throws a beautiful. Yeah, I mean it's get that thing deep. Go deep, but I mean you gotta be able to protect. But I mean going deep and having the weapons to do so, and then the protection, that's huge. But I mean, also just give the defense something to think about. Open it up a little bit, right? I mean, because it seemed like last there was like, the defense, they ain't going deep. Let's just move everybody up, guys. You know how hard it is to go 15 play drive down the field and score. I mean, that's so tough. 5 yards, 4 yards, 6 yards, first down. 3 yards, 7 yards, first down. 3 yards, 4 yards, 4 yards, first down. I mean, how difficult it is without a turnover, a penalty, or, I mean, that's tough. That's tough. And as I said, I don't know what the stat is, but your chances of scoring, I think a touchdown goes up like exponentially if you have a play of over 20 or 25 yards. So, but there was a lot of guys here. There was some close calls anyway. So the defense is starting to get their hands on some balls here. But the tally officially stayed just at one. Cam Brown came the closest, but couldn't secure the ball after it tipped it to himself a few times. Javarius Owens, the 7th and final selection of the Giants draft, intercepted a pass in the red zone. Cornerback Zion Gilbert, that's good to hear his name, because Nick McLeod, we've heard his name a couple times, so that's good. Also got a hand on a pass after recording an interception on Wednesday. Right, so that's good. That's good. That's very good. Jones also went deep to rookie wide receiver Jalen Hyatt for a big game. Slayton said he can play, said this fellow speedster. You can see the talent, not just his speed. He has a little viral video of him telling the coach he can run routes and stuff. Oh, yeah. Well, I think we've all kind of seen that one. I think he does route run well. He catches the ball well. I think just all the way around, he's a very talented player. Backup quarterback Tyrod Taylor and wide receiver Jeff Smith found a rhythm today, including a nice toe tapper on the sideline. But speaking of Jeff Smith, or meaning Jeff Smith as far as possibly maybe in the return game, but Khalil Pimpleton, right, says, and this is something the Giants, without question, could use an upgrade on. Giants special teams unit ranked near the bottom of the NFL last season, averaging just 21.4 yards per kick return and 6.2 yards per punt return, respectively. The Giants tested out a number of different return specials last season, including starting quarterback Adoree Jackson. Jackson suffered his knee injury while returning to punt in Week 11. Let's see. It says putting a defensive starter on special teams had severe adverse effects on the team as a whole. In order to avoid making this mistake again, the Giants should consider adding a designated return specialist to roster. So, in-house, Khalil Pimpleton looks like he could be in a position to take on the role after turning some heads in OTAs this spring. The second-year wide receiver out of Central Michigan spent the 2022 season on the practice squad after going undrafted last spring. This summer, Pimpleton could use his return skills to earn himself in promotion to the regular season roster. Pimpleton earned the Mid-American Conference Special Teams Player of the Year award for his return work in 2021 at Central Michigan. He ran back 16 punts for 304 yards and 2 touchdowns as a redshirt junior that year. Yeah, in 2021, he ran back 16 punts for a 19-yard average. I mean, obviously, of course, the 2 long the punt returns for touchdowns were huge, but he ran back, he had 62 receptions for 960 yards, almost, I guess that's damn close to 15 yards of reception right there. I mean, of course, we're talking Central Michigan. I get that. But, he had 4 touchdowns. He had 2 return touchdowns. He ran basically every 8 punts he ran back. One of them was for a touchdown. Now, once again, that's college. That's Central Michigan. I get it, but he's 5'9", 175 pounds. All right. Yeah, that's not that horrible for a punt returner. Yeah, I mean, and also he can play wide receiver as well too. Let me find it here. Once again, I got 722,000 tabs open. There we go. All right, here he is. Now he just 21. Okay, his last season, he was on 74 total snaps in special teams for Central Michigan. 4 of them was on kick return. 1 was on field goal block. Unless maybe they put him under the goal post, maybe. I can think of that. If it was a long kick and they thought it might be short, he would catch it. That was against Missouri, the first game of the week. First game of the season when Central Michigan played at Missouri. Maybe because sometimes if they think it's too far of a kick and the guy might kick it short, and it lands in the field of play, what do you do? You grab it and you take off with it. So that might be why he was on field goal block. But he was on punt return 69 times. So what was he first? Okay, he was 184 special team snaps altogether in his 4 years at Central Michigan. In 2019, he was on punt return 70 times. I don't know, maybe if he missed a couple games his junior season, because he wasn't. So go back to 2020. How many games did he play in? Yeah, he only played. He must something. I don't know. He missed the first 9 weeks of the season in 2020. So he was only on 30 special team snaps in 2020. So either he was injured, maybe a COVID. I don't know, but he played he played in 6 games in his junior season. But I mean, he's on punt return. So now, of course, you get the best of both worlds with him. I mean, he's probably not somebody you're going to maybe wind up going out. He's only 5'9", so you're only going to be able to get so much out of him, maybe out of the passing game. But he can be a receiver, and he can be a punt returner. So keep an eye on him, Khalil Pimpleton. And I was kind of, you pull for some of these guys, obviously, because, when they're on the practice, like Jashawn Corbin, you're pulling for those guys. You hope that maybe they get a chance to come up and maybe get to do something for the team. But despite demonstrating obvious talent as a punt returner in college, Pimpleton was kept on the practice squad to develop last season. This year at OTAs, he's looked like a new and improved player, making an impact as a receiver during team drills. He caught a touchdown reception on a pass from Tyrod Taylor and holding a deep over-the-shoulder grab from Daniel Jones at OTA number 5. The Giants have put a bunch of players in the mix for their wide-open returner position. So keep an eye on Khalil Pimpleton as a as a possible punt returner. Then we got DeAndre Hopkins. Now you started hearing some things. I mean, obviously, kind of interested to see who winds up, where he winds up going, who takes a chance on him, how much it winds up costing the team. Did they sign it for 1 year? Did they sign it for a couple of years? But you start, as time goes by, you start hearing more and more things. Now, it's a lot of this. Some of this is hearsay. Says DeAndre Hopkins' situation is first and foremost a lesson in NFL economics. Yeah. In the end, Arizona couldn't get anything for the star receiver. It made a blockbuster trade for 3 years ago. And that most certainly is an indication that he can't play anymore, nor that he might not have value to another team. But it's that they didn't have the value of $19.5 million, I guess. The Cardinals were never going to pay him that. Neither were the other 31 teams. So that left Arizona to put Hopkins on the trading block at the start of this offseason and wait. The Cardinals gave other teams permission to talk to him and his representation. They kept taking cash off their asking price and were even willing to buy a draft pick as part of it. But at the end, it didn't happen. All that led to Friday's release of Hopkins, putting the 11-year veteran who turns 31 in a week on the market. My guess would be that the market bears something around half of what would have made on his now terminated deal in 2023, with some incentives to get him closer to the big. Somebody was saying that offer him a deal around $10 million a year and throw a few $2-3 million there incentives. That might wind up tipping the scale in the team's favor. Let's see. Here's a little more on what behind Hopkins and potentially ahead for him too. So now there's some things you wind up hearing here. The Cardinals were giving any teams who wanted to talk to Hopkins permission to do so. Two teams that got permission was the Chiefs and the Bills. Let's see here. Arizona initially asking price was a second-round pick and another asset, but by the end, it was willing to part with him for a whole lot less than that. And this guy wrote this article here from Sports Illustrated, and my sense is it have considered picking up a chunk of his salary. Obviously, the higher the pick, the more. Yeah, so if you gave him back, like I say, a second round in return, they might have picked up a huge amount of his salary. So. So if the Cardinals could have gotten, like, say, a top 100 pick in return, the Cardinals probably would have picked up a huge amount of his salary. But apparently, nobody wanted to even give up like a third rounder for him. But again, there simply wasn't interest in paying Hopkins top dollar and giving up the day. See, that's the one thing, that's the one thing that gets you, giving up the pick and having to pay him. That's a tough one. I mean, unless the guy's going to put you in the Super Bowl, okay. But I mean, if that's not the case, giving up that second day draft pick, a second or third round pick, and having to come out with paying him $10-15 million a year, that's tough. That's tough. Hopkins camp tried to push. Let's see here. Let's see. Kansas City made progress toward a deal, but things went a little sideways when Odell Beckham Jr. got $15 million in base pay from Baltimore, making Hopkins feel like he should land at least that much, given that Beckham didn't play last year. So Beckham didn't play last year. Hopkins did play last year. So Hopkins like, well, I should get at least $15 million if Odell Beckham's getting that much. So the Bills similarly were willing to do a pay-for-play sort of deal loaded with incentives. My feeling is that it leaves them in the same place the Chiefs are with Hopkins. The only way it happens is if the price comes down. And if you add all that up, I think we're going one of two conclusions. Either Hopkins finds someone to pay up and take the big bag, or he takes less to chase a ring with the Kansas City bubble, with the idea that putting together a fully healthy 2020 could burnish his legacy and perhaps set up one last big payday for him next year. That said, there's a healthy divide on exactly what Hopkins has left. This is what I want to get to here. This guy here from SI asked one veteran team executive what's still there. And he answered via text, not much. He can't run anymore. Another one answered was pretty different. He's still got, like I said, he's still a good player, good route runner, big physical target, and can play a ball in the air. He's still a threat. And a third played both sides of it. Another guy said he's still got great hands. He's not going to separate much, which is something the Giants want guys to do. They want separation. They just don't want to throw the ball. Okay, we're going to throw it here. There might be two defenders there, but we know you're going to come down with it. That's apparently not how the Giants want to roll. All right. The guy said he's not much of a deep threat, but very strong and makes contested catches all well as anyone in the NFL. The AFC exec said does not love to practice. Okay, so once again, is that somebody Shane and Dable want to bring in here? Somebody who does not want to practice. Now, the guys that they got here, some guys, Saquon's holding out and this, that, and the other thing, all, but when they come here, they practice. And that may not be something you want to bring somebody in who, you're paying him $10, $15 million and he doesn't want to practice. That may not be somebody that Shane or Dable want to bring in here, if that's the case. Okay. Guy says, I can't imagine they'll get any better. And when things don't go well, you're always going to be leery. All right, what kind of drama are we going to get from this guy if things aren't going well? Once again, it may not be somebody that Shane or Dave will want to bring into camp, if that's the case. When things are great, he's great. Oh, yeah, sure. If I just win the lottery, hey, things are good. Woo! I'm the man. I'm so happy. But, things, there's always adversity there. And when adversity kind of creeps up on you, what are they going to get from you? When things go south, his true colors seem to show a little bit. Once again, may not be somebody, if that's the truth, may not be somebody that Shane or Dave wants to, but he always shows up on game day. He's going to have to go to a team that knows what they're getting. You cannot expect a perfect attendance type of worker, which once again, may not be, what the Giants are looking for. So, but then we got, then finally we got the Giants wind up signing Ryan Cowden from Tennessee because his time was kind of limited there. I mean, he was on his way out. Formerly of the Tennessee Titans, has joined the Giants as a special advisor to the general manager. The team announced Thursday. Now the thing is, you always have to keep an eye, on Brandon Brown, right? I mean, because dude, the guy's like 34 years old. My goodness, man, 33, 34, something like that. Holy cow! But if things keep going well for the Giants. Brandon Brown was with the Eagles. Good knowledge there, good experience, good education there, excellent education there, right? You can't buy that education. Now, Brandon Brown came here first season. The Giants go to the playoffs, winning record, go to the playoffs. So the Giants get better once again. Say this year, say they go 10-7, 11-6, whatever. They go back to the playoffs again. Giants might have a winning formula. Right? People are going to want to know. People are going to maybe start calling Brandon Brown in the offseason, maybe for general manager's position. So Brandon Brown may not be there forever. So, this might be another one of the things that, why Cowden was wound up coming in too. So you never know. But in this article, Daily News, it said he and Shane worked together as scouting assistants and area scouts for the Carolina Panthers from 2000 to 2007. I think Shane was there in 2001, so I don't think he was there in 2000. Cowden was there in 2000, but I don't think Shane was there in 2000. They both interviewed for the Giants vacancy job. So Cowden, has interest in being a GM. So, but the job went to Shane. Brandon Beane's assistant general manager in Buffalo, and not to Cowden. So who was entering his fifth season as vice president of player personnel under the Titans general manager, John Robinson. But, John Robinson is now gone. See, Cowden worked 7 seasons with the Titans. The first 2 as the director of player personnel to help build the Tennessee into an AFC contender. In his most recent role, he oversaw the Titans' entire scouting department, both college and pro, which is good and bad. But I mean, they had some good drafts, but obviously a couple were the Titans' drafts slipped in the recent years, though, including the 2020 first-round selection of tackle Isaiah Wilson. Remember, the Giants brought him in during 2021, but he apparently wound up being a bust that the Giants inexplicably added and kept around for a bit in 2021. I mean, we're kind of hoping that he might be, our right tackle. We got Andrew Thomas. We got Isaiah Wilson. How's he going to do? Is he going to be that first round? You think he can play this, that, and the other thing? No, we got ourselves 2 tackles, so we don't need Evan Neal now. Apparently not. And then, of course, their GM Robinson, he unwisely traded A.J. Brown to the Eagles, and look what the Eagles wound up doing, right? The Eagles with Brown went to the Super Bowl. Meanwhile, Tennessee couldn't even make the playoffs, right? They lost. They had a losing record. Tennessee, to be fair, was by far the most injured team in football last season. You go to mangameslost.com. Tennessee was by far the most injured team last year. So, but Tennessee had their first sub 500 season, 7-10 in Robinson and Cowden's tenure, and Robinson was fired in December. I mean, it's kind of tough. I mean, because it's like you have one bad season, they fire you. Your team is totally depleted because of injuries. You're still 7-10, and they fire you. Wow. Wow. So it elevated Cowden at the time to interim general manager. Okay, and then he held that title for Tennessee until they hired Rand Carthon, the San Francisco 49ers director of pro personnel, as their new GM in mid-January. So once they did that, Cowden's time there was just, he wasn't going to remain in Tennessee. So his title with the Giants suggests he's still being paid, possibly by the Titans. Maybe he was under contract, I guess, and that it could evolve as he works with Shane, director of player personnel, Tim McDonald, director of pro scouting, Chris Rossetti, and assistant director of player personnel, Dennis Hickey. Giants also hired the scouting assistant Isaiah Wingfield. So, the Giants are doing some stuff. So it'll be interesting to see. I mean, because Cowden, he GM material, he just didn't maybe get the job. He's with scouting, pro, college scouting, and also, I mean, I think it's a very good pickup for the Giants. Now, of course, doesn't mean that, he might be here this year and gone next year if something opens up. Especially if the Giants wind up being successful, right? That's when teams start coming and picking your guys, right? It said like Brandon Brown. I mean, he could be gone, especially if the Giants do well. Young, intelligent, upcoming assistant GM. The sky's the limit for that freaking guy. I mean, he's got a beautiful future ahead of him, especially being come from the Eagles and now the Giants. And as the Giants seem to be turning things around. Brandon Brown seems like he could have a heck of a future. Heck of a future in front of him. All right, then I saw this article about 3 reasons why the Giants' defense won't be improved. I got a couple more. One of them I don't really agree with here. But the one reason they talk about in this article, this is G-Men HQ fan-sided. Who wrote this here? Braulio Perez, G-Men HQ. 3 reasons to believe the New York Giants defense will be improved in 2023. Now, this one, the linebacker play will be improved for the Giants. Now, obviously, a lot of this has to also do with the health. Everybody's health. If you're not healthy, right? But with the Karake in there, without question, if we can get Beavers back, without question, that interior defensive line, interior, the middle linebackers, interior, whatever you want to call them, whatever they're called nowadays, interior middle linebackers or whatever. That play's going to get much better. One of the biggest headaches the Giants fans got while watching this team in 2022 was the poor linebacker play. Tay Crowder and Jalen Smith saw significant action, which was tough to watch from start to finish during the campaign. We saw just how bad the unit was late in the season, particularly versus the Eagles. Oh, my goodness, yeah. Now, though, things are going to be quite different from this team, as both Smith and Crowder are nowhere near East Rutherford. On top of that, Shane made a huge splash early on in free agency when he was able to sign stud inside linebacker Bobby the tackling machine Okereke to a 4-year deal worth $40 million. That's it. I mean, I tell you what, I think that's a heck of a deal. I think the Giants 4 for 40 for Okereke. Okereke has monster potential with his team. Oh, absolutely. Oh, yeah. I'm dying to see Beavers in there. Absolutely. We can't wait to see what Okereke will be able to do to get done with this group moving forward. But he's not the only linebacker to keep an eye on. There's a lot of buzz surrounding Darian Beavers as a 2022 late-round pick, and a promising summer only to see his rookie campaign come to close when he tore his ACL in preseason. Unbelievable. Beavers will be ready to make an early impact, and he should do just that. The second reason is that for them, is that the Giants had that the second of their 3 reasons the Giants defense should be better is that the NFL draft was great for the Giants, their defense. Now, also, I want to talk about, the interior defensive line too. They don't have that in this article too. But the thing is that between bringing A'Shawn Robinson in, who seems to have something a little wrong with them. I don't know if he's coming off of some type of surgery or procedure or something like that or whatever, but he doesn't seem like he's 100% healthy at the time. But then you got Nunez Roaches. So, I mean, they added depth to the interior defensive line. So if Leo Lyon can come back healthy, you got him. Then you got Sexy Dexy, right? So you got those 2 guys. Now you're taking them off the field. In the run game, you're not losing a ton. It's not like you're going from Sexy Dexy to that way down here, right? You actually got guys that come in the game who are going to be good in the run game. That's huge too, as far as setting up the guys behind him, Okereke and all, to make tackles. So they didn't bring that up in this article here, but I think adding the values, keeping obviously we got Leonard Williams, but keeping Sexy Dexy here in Giants uniform for years to come, and bringing in Robinson and Nunez Roaches as defensive backups, replacements, whatever you want to call them. I think that was huge as well too. Huge. The draft in terms of young talent, plenty has arrived via the 2023 NFL draft. Obviously, to start things off, we've got to talk about cornerback Deonte Banks. Banks was clearly a top target for the Giants as they moved up to number 24 overall. Make sure no one else could have him. Thus far in OTAs, Banks is making plenty of noise. That's what you like to hear. Oh, yeah. The young defensive back has been thrown into the fire early on, seeing action running with the starters. Cool. People are excited about what he will be able to get done this season working with standout cornerback Adoree Jackson. Then also, let's not forget on top of Banks, other players for the secondary added in the draft for cornerbacks Trey Hawkins and safety Javarius Owens. Both players have also made a little bit of noise in OTAs. You can never have too much depth. Nope, absolutely not. Especially for the secondary. We're excited to see what these youngsters can do, especially Banks. Absolutely. Absolutely. All right, and finally, it says that their third reason why the Giants' defense will be better this year is Kayvon Thibodeaux will have a monster season for the Giants. I hope they're right. I'll say with his knowledge, working on what Wink wanted him to, his core strength and his legs, I think he'll have more of an impactful season. I think he'll do better. He can stay healthy than he did last year. But they're saying a monster season. Once again, I hope I'm wrong. I hope they're right. I hope he has 50 sacks. But it says, with all the excitement surrounding the new players for the Giants, it's easy to forget about some of the returning standouts. Yes, we can go on and on and on about Dexter Lawrence, Saquon Barkley, Andrew Thomas, and others. However, Can we please talk about former number 5 overall pick Kayvon Thibodeaux, who's getting ready for his second season in the league? Thibodeaux fell way short of his sacks goal last season, but we don't care about that. He still made an impact. The dude frickin' hustled his rear end off. He made quite, the game against Baltimore, huge. And the final play, the strip sack against Lamar, the play against the Commanders, huge plays. All right, huge plays. The guy recovered a couple fumbles, hustled. Love his hustle, right? So during the second half of the year, Thibodeaux was on one of the best pass rushers in the NFC. And if they start calling flags when he is held, which is 90% of the time, that'll be even more impactful. His coming out party at FedEx Field against the Commanders was nothing short of a sensational. He was making plays all night. Yes, he was. Yes, he was. Now, Thibodeaux has plenty of experience under his belt. He's got a season of experience. And he'll look to record a head-turning amount of sacks. I hope they're right, boy. I hope they're right. If we can get double digits, right? Because Azeez can get double digits if Azeez can stay healthy. But what we need to start working on is after this season's over with, once the dust settles and smoke clears and all that stuff, we need to see who's behind Azeez and Kayvon, and then we need to add a third guy if we don't have him on the roster. If Baldonado can't be it, or Ellison Smith can't be it, or Toman Fox, or Hottie Ward's not a superior edge rusher. Saying if we can't get it from one of those guys, we need to, the X-Man Ximines, right? So if we can't get it from one of those guys, we're going to need next season to get a third edge rusher. That's on the to-do list. Write that down on a chalkboard, Joe Shane. Get a third edge rusher next season. Let's see. He'll look to have a record head-turning amount of sacks this season after he posted 4 during his rookie year. Thibodeaux is a personable young man who is easy to root for. Absolutely. Absolutely. He's focused on really stepping up his game in 2023, and fans should have every reason to believe that he'll have no problem making that happen. So I think his second, he has obviously the experience. Obviously, he's got a year, under his belt. I mean, he's not like a 5-year veteran, but he's got at least got a year under his belt. Be a second season under the same system. And once again, theory of relativity, right? Stuff's all relative. If you got somebody good over here, that's going to help the person over here, right? You got somebody, if Azeez can stay healthy, right? I mean, Azeez looked like he was shot out of a rocket sometimes last year. His get off was unbelievable. Guy can't stay healthy. If he can stay healthy, right? Maybe they start sliding the protection that way, giving a little bit of help over there. Opens up stuff up for Kayvon, right? When you got Hottie Ward over here, maybe, and you got Kayvon Thibodeaux over here, who are they going to slide the protection to give help out? Right? So, but, I certainly, without question, look for Kayvon, obviously, to have more sacks than 4 this year. But I said it would really be nice. I mean, I'm so sick and tired of seeing Kayvon coming around the edge and the tackle's got him like this, and Kayvon's trying to get to the quarterback, waving his arms like this, and the ref's like, yeah, I don't see none. But yet, if that was Micah Parsons, they throw 9 flags. And then the ref looks, 1, 2, 3, that's 9 flags. Oh, my God, we just threw 9 flags on one hold call. So that's 10 yards. That's a 90-yard penalty. Yeah, because that's Micah Parsons. We got to throw. He's the greatest guy of all times. We got to throw flags on him. I mean, the offensive line's not allowed to touch him because that's Micah Parsons. If you touch Micah Parsons, that's automatic holding. But with Kayvon, wrap your arm around his arm around his neck and throat and all that. I don't see nothing. That's a good block. So maybe we'll start getting some more calls, right? But is what it is. But I definitely think, without question, 3 reasons. I mean, the Giants. And also another, I said, we got the 2 cornerbacks, right? We got the 2 inside, the two edge rushers, the 2 inside linebackers. We got depth at the defensive front. We got 2 cornerbacks. We need to find who the slot guy is, right? We're going to have Xavier McKinney. Hopefully, we're going to sign him for long term. Hopefully, but we want to find out, Pinnock. Can he be maybe one of the solutions back there? How is Belton? Can he be one of the solutions back there? Is McCain just a torch holder and he's here this year and he's gone next year? Maybe we bring somebody else in. We'll have to wait and see. But I mean, without question, the Giants. I mean, we lost Love, okay, but he wasn't a Hall of Famer. He's not an All-Pro. But he was somebody you can put all over the place. He was called Mr. Duct Tape. Or he was called Duct Tape or whatever from Joe Judge for a reason. You can put them all over the place. So, but I think without question, the Giants added quality to the defense this year. So if they can stay healthy, I think without question they'll be better this year. And once again, theory of relative. It's all relative. The offense is better. That's going to make the defense better. Why? Well, when the offense is on the field more, the defense is on the field less. The offense is on the field more, scoring points. How many points is the defense giving up? Less. When your offense is on the field, 1, 2, 3 punt, and the defense keeps running onto the field, and the offense, 1, 2, 3 punt, and the defense going to get worn down. They're going to give up yards, going to give up points, and then it's like, well, the Giants' defense stinks. Well, maybe, yeah, but I mean, if you're on the field for 98% of the game, yeah, you're going to give up points. You're going to give up you're going to wear down. Yep. So I mean. The offense helps out the defense. The defense is going to look even better. So, well, guys, it's been 51 minutes. Man, be shooting my mouth off. Terrence, as always, buddy. Good talking to you, pal. Thanks so much. Well, so everybody spent any time. Let me ramble on for 52 minutes. Thank you. If anybody watches the replay of this, once again, thank you so much from the bottom of my heart. Thank you. As always, you guys stay safe out there and go Giants. Woo! Oh, yeah.